Well, good
Hello.
morning. How are
Hello.
you?
Hello. I'm doing good, Sarah. We didn't get to catch up match backstage before we
No,
went live here.
you need to
Uh,
tell me everything live so
I am. I
everyone
think we
can
did
hear.
official coffee talk. All right, listeners, viewers, you can catch up with Sarah and I. But we're here live with you. Let us know where you're watching from. And
Yeah,
we always love
you
seeing
need
that.
to
So
you need to tell me about your weekend.
it was a great weekend. I want to talk about it because I went to a place where you visited, Lavongo over in St.
Yeah,
John.
yeah,
And I went right by it. We went on the ferry. It was closed, and we saw the
yes,
employees locking up everything. And we hopped off
yes.
on the coral into the coral reef right outside Lavongo and snorkeled. I saw some
No,
sharks and some
yeah,
stingrays and some fish. Um, but yeah, so we'll talk about what I did. So I went to St. John and to the British Virgin Islands. Won't say for why, but we went there, and everywhere I go, I always look at the hospitality. It took me a minute to adjust to the service on the island because
oh,
for those
how
that have
come?
not been there, they're on island time, and I thought I had island time here in Miami, but like the signs in a
No,
lot of
no,
restaurants say like, "All right, we open at 10 a.m. ish," with like a 30-minute window of when they may or may not open. And the same thing with the ferries to get to the airports, because to get to St. John, you land in St. Thomas and you get to the ferry, and then the ferry goes. But on the way back, the ferry is like, "Well, we got some other people we're waiting on," and you got to really time things out really well. But once you get used to the pace, it took me a couple days. I was like, wow, like this is actually very chill here. And, a lot of people go there, and I started getting into the rhythm of the island. And then when I left, I was like, oh man, I got to speed up everything here again. We got to get on point. But it just reminded me of how you can have good hospitality in different ways.
yes.
Um, but I'm still not used to the very casualness of a lot of things that I experienced in some really high end places. But I didn't get to stay in a hotel. We were in vacation rentals and going to restaurants and things like that.
Well, I
What
think
is your
it's
take
it.
on the island life?
For sure. There's definitely like island time, but the ferries being late, that's a big because for us it was always like the ferries are super on time, and if you're late, too bad. And there's actually a woman there that works at the ferry at Red Hook who is very vocal. I don't know. I call her Nancy. I don't know if that's her. I shouldn't call her Nancy because I have an Aunt Nancy, and if she's watching this, she'll get so upset at me. But I feel like her name's Nancy, and she's very like particular. And it's like if you were not there, they are leaving. But it's a
Maybe
totally
this
match.
experience is different because I only took two ferries. On the way back, we were leaving. We were out. We left the dock, and I guess they forgot somebody, so they turned around and went back and got them and picked them up, and then we went back out.
Well, that's nice that they did that.
Yeah,
The
right.
airport is very interesting. I have a thing with one of the guys at the airport. Not a good thing. He does not like me. I don't know why. And he has stopped me now twice. When
I was
I've
very upset.
left.
They took my hair product. Okay, they took my hair product out of my bag. I was like, "How
Wait,
dare
really?
you?" Yeah, I was like, "Guys, it's clear bottle. You can see in here." They're like, "No, we can't tell what this is. Gone." I was like, "All right, I'm
What?
not getting
Oh
into
my
a
God.
fight here at
No,
security."
no, no. Definitely
The hair
not worth it.
product.
Definitely not worth it. I've had a suitcase left at that airport that ended up coming like the next day. The because you have to go through passport control there, and I have not uh global entry, but you have to have the global entry card. And
Right.
because
Yeah.
of that airport, I travel with my global entry card now
It was very
because
tough. Yeah, there's no TSA pre-check. Doesn't matter. You're all kind of in the same line when I was there. So, but
yep.
either way, like I would say this, I liked it very much. The most beautiful beaches I've ever seen in the world are there. I've been to a lot of beaches, and I have to give that my ranking of top beaches.
Okay.
Yost Beach in the British Virgin Islands at Soggy Dollar Bar was pretty
Oh
awesome,
yeah. I don't think I've been there. I haven't been there.
beautiful. And then Trunk Bay Beach in St. John might be the
That's a
best I've
classic.
ever seen. So, and I didn't know what to expect, but I like it very much. I will be going back. I need to just get my mind around. All right, now I understand island time and driving on the left side of the road and all these fun things in the U.S. Virgin Islands.
You are something else. Oh
Yeah,
my gosh. Well, that's cool. You had a fun
I had a
weekend.
great weekend. And you, anything exciting?
Oh, just, working away. Just working away. I'm going to New York this next week. So I'll be in New York and Pennsylvania for like the next 10 days. So next week, if you guys are in New York City, let me know.
All right,
Then,
Sarah.
should we keep? Why don't we go to our first sponsor?
What does it say? Manzi, island time knows no time zone. I agree with you.
That's correct.
There is no time zone. You just live. You're just living life. And they kept telling me, like, because I was like trying to get somewhere, like, hey, you're on vacation, man. Just relax. Everything's okay. Like,
oh, right. I can't stand that. People are like, you're on vacation. I'm like, I'm actually not on vacation. I am actually working.
Yeah.
But-
Everyone was very casual. I'll tell you this: we were at the fine dining restaurant on the restaurant of the island, one of them, and it was ultra casual, no standards. Very nice though. Food coming out wrong, like all crazy stuff, and it happened multiple times at different places. So we may need an island training just on standards of how to make sure people are taken care of. That's about it. Anyway, I'm going back. I did like it, so if you can get around that, you're good to go. And Kenny Chesney loves it too. So if you're a Kenny Chesney fan, he's got a whole album about living there.
Oh my. No, I can't. I have not thought about Kenny Chesney.
I got to see his house and his boat and his plane, all the fun stuff.
Since 1998 or whatever he was popular.
Oh boy. Hater. All right, let's get into some news here. People are done with our coffee talk. I see their faces. Their eyes are glazing over. Let's get into it.
Oh man. All right. Do you want to do this
before we get started? Hold on. All right, because let me tell you why. Very important here.
Tell us why.
This episode is brought to you by StayFi. And StayFi helps short-term rental operators build direct guest relationships through branded Wi-Fi portals, email marketing, and guest data tools that turn one-time bookers into repeat guests. So start growing your direct booking revenue today at stayfi.com/Good Morning Hospitality. And that's stayfi.com/Good Morning Hospitality. And Paul Manzi, it's a lot of shade to be throwing at Kenny Chesney. Oof.
Correct. That is correct. I have no qualms about that.
Listen, if you only know, Sarah was listening to Ludacris backstage before we get on here. So
hey, exactly. I'm from a different part of the South. Anyway, the dirty part. Okay. Why don't we go here into our first topic? So this is kind of cool. So Hilton's Chris Nassetta comments on 28 brands and the Bazillion points problem. So pressed on why Hilton runs 28 brands, CEO Chris Nassetta argued that the portfolio is not sprawl, but a data-backed answer to what owners and guests keep asking for. And his first events, Marriott, Accor, and Hyatt, also have 38, 42, and 45 brands respectively. So his second pushback is that every Hilton brand with at least 100 with at least 100 open hotels outperforms the average of its local competitors in RevPAR. So, I mean, he definitely is proving a point there, but then also the Bazillion points problem. I don't know if you've seen this. He said that when a guest grumbles at checkout, the typical response is like a pile of Hilton Honors points. He calls this sort of like buying forgiveness and said AI changes that equation entirely. So Hilton systems could use an AI catch a complaint in the moment. So to catch it, whatever. I'm like reading this. Yeah.
So here's what we got. We got two stories here. Right.
Yeah.
I'm curious about your take on here. The first, let's start with the second one you talked about. So when things go wrong in a Hilton hotel, they're now throwing points at you is like, you know what? So sorry. Here's 10,000 points for you. And go about your day. Like that's what I can do for you. So as a former concierge and you've been around the front desk area where a lot of the complaints come in, how do you feel about this versus like trying to actually help throwing points? How do you think that this works now? Because he's saying with AI, they're going to be able to find out if things are going wrong during the stay and try to really win them back versus getting like an angry email and throwing them points afterwards.
I mean, the points can be part of the apology, but it's never the entire thing. I mean, I haven't ever worked at a property that was a part of, I've never personally worked at one of these big branded hotels. All of the properties I worked at don't operate on point systems. And so that's just not how you have a proper service recovery. So if points is just like your only approach to service recovery, I don't think that that's really a big I don't think that that's the appropriate response. It can be quote unquote the icing on the cake, but it definitely doesn't make things right.
Yeah. And I agree. So I think I'm curious to see how he fixes it, because now they're investing heavily into all their new tech and figuring out how to catch complaints as they're happening live. I'm curious to see how they can start fixing it. I think that will be better for everyone. And if you can throw in some points as like the cherry on top,
yeah,
great. I think that's very helpful.
Not opposed to it. I don't know. I mean, it's interesting. I don't have because I've got Marriott as well as Hilton, and it's wild because obviously all points are valued differently. But it's interesting when they're completely different. So it's like in my mind, when I have Marriott points, I know approximately how many points could like get me a stay. And when I go to Hilton, it's like double the amount. And so it's like a mind trip, because I'm like, what do you mean I have to spend 200,000 points for 2 nights, where like the same would be 38,000 points for the Marriott equivalent, And so that part is interesting. There's got to be a reasoning behind that, but I wish that there was a more equivalent points.
Yes. Here's what I think about it. Like, all right, if I'm at a resort, let's just go back to where I used to work. You're at the resort, you have an issue. I want to try to, yes, I'm going to hear about you. I'm going to show my empathy. I'm going to have some action. I'm going to react, right? We always talked about like, that's what we're going to do. And so if you had a problem with the room, I want to fix that problem in the room for you and give you something at breakfast, complimentary or free buffet. Or if I have an empty cabana that day, let's give you that wonderful cabana that has $1,000 value, something that's tangible on site that I can provide to you. Then I think you give the points as an extra, right? That is something I think is a little extra, and you can make that feel good afterwards. But if I'm just getting points, I don't want that. I had an issue on a flight I think we talked about several months ago. I paid up for a big business class seat to travel overseas and had issues with that seat, and all I got was points, but I'm never using that airline ever again. So, it didn't really benefit me in any way. And I'll have a story for next week. I have to make sure I can talk about it, but remind me. It's a funny story about an airline and something happening badly on there.
Oh, no. I mean,
they just threw them points as like a sorry, what it should have been like, oh my God, let's take care of you for a couple of trips. So we'll see about the points. We'll see what they do. I'm curious about that, but I'm more interested on the brands. So here's one thing here is that Hilton had 8 brands when Nassetta arrived as CEO in 2007. 8 brands.
Yeah.
And all but 2 of the additions since have been built organically. He runs focus groups constantly to validate new brand concepts before launching them. So in saying these 28 brands really have been thought about, or, really tested and putting them out there into the world. But again, we run this, everyone knows my favorite part of the show. What is it, Sarah?
Whose brand is it anyway?
Whose brand is it anyway? So when you have 28 brands with Hilton, and then 38, 42, and 45 with Marriott, Accor, and Hyatt, that is hundreds of brands out there, and you don't really know what they are. But I don't think we need that many brands, but they're saying that every single one of them performs well when you have 100 in that lineup with under that umbrella. And so I'm not sure if it's just because they have points and loyalty and people are looking up for like, hey, I'm just going to look for a Hilton in the city, and whatever pops up on my app, I'll use my points and book there, versus, oh, I really want to stay at the new undergraduate hotels in the second tier college towns. And so that's what I'm wondering about.
I think it has to do, it's like it's brand recognition. And it's the brand recognition that will balance out the lower cost options. So, I mean, it could also be higher end options, but I would think the play generally, as far as what sways people, is like, I'm going to the city and I don't really care where we stay, whether it's like with a family or a business or business trip or whatever. I don't really care where I stay. I'm just looking for the cheapest option. I've never heard of this brand. Oh, but it's XYZ by Hilton, XYZ by Marriott. Well, they've got to have minimum standards. Click book. So I think that moves the needle more than, oh, I've never heard of this brand and it's $1,000 a night. Oh, but they're under, like if you're paying something that's $1,000 a night, you're not, if anything, you might look at, oh, it's by one of these big brands. It's probably not truly luxury. So
Interesting.
That's the
Yeah, it can work
pushback I
both ways.
see with, yeah, exactly, both ends of the spectrum. Because I have that conversation with my clients all the time, is that we'll sometimes find some places and then they're like, oh, I'd prefer something a little bit more unique than something under one of the big brands. And we pull away from them, and they're spending 1,500, 2,000, 5,000 a night. So yeah.
Interesting thoughts here. So we'll see where they go, but they're spending a lot of money on these points. There's a lot of points sitting out there unused as well in these brands.
Mhm.
So I
Yes.
want to follow up on this. So let's see what comes out
Love
of
to come
this.
back.
But listen, before we move on here, Sarah. Okay.
Yes.
I want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, Bilt. Okay, they're helping restaurants and hotel F&B teams better understand their guests and create more personalized experiences that drive what we all like, repeat visits. So if you care about loyalty and guest experience, it's worth checking out. Head to joinbilt.com/GMH, and that's joinbilt.com/GMH. All right, this might become my new favorite part, is just reading the sponsors here. I need some music.
You were just,
we need some music to put behind here. Lou, thank you.
It just has to be royalty-free music, okay? Yeah. But yes.
I'm getting into this.
You were so good. I love this.
Man, the professional ad on these ad reads is really leveling up. I've been practicing, and you're gonna laugh. I've been listening to other podcasters read ads.
Oh,
I'm like,
wait, have you really been?
Yeah, for real.
Oh, good for you.
For real.
Perfect. Well, then you can do them all.
I'm on it.
Love it. Okay, perfect. This is an interesting one. I reported on this for the Skift Daily Briefing. So hotel brands are circling around student housing for 4 income streams. So this is not necessarily a new concept. But it is interesting because it's I think maybe becoming a little bit more prevalent. So Accor and Malia, for example, are both moving into student housing, pursuing a hybrid hospitality model pioneered around the social hub. So this is where this is kind of started. So the appeal is 4 income streams in one building: student housing during the academic year, extended stay guests, and then traditional brief hotel stays, and then ultimately co-working memberships. Big fan of this. And if one's actually looking underneath the hood of it all, the economics of it it's pretty interesting. So what are your thoughts on this? Because I mean, I love this. It makes sense.
I think it's pretty wild to think, right? It's not the first thing you think about, all right, let's take student housing in college towns and mix them with hotel stays and also co-working. And in the article, they even said everyone told the founder of Social Hub when he founded it back in 2012, that is a terrible idea. But now they run 10,000 hotel rooms across 8 countries. And their founder, Charlie McGregor, says student housing remains a predictable occupancy base. So they know how many people are going to be there. And then it frees up the hotel component so they can chase the higher rate rather than the volume of what, the occupancy. So it really is pretty interesting to see how they're going to grow. I checked out some of the brands earlier, like Joe and Joe from Accor that they're going to put in there. And I went through it, and they're not any U.S. cities yet. They're more in Europe, but I checked out Paris, and they have some in Rio and Brazil. So in South America, they have some too. And they're, nice. They're dorm rooms, so a lot of them, or hostel style rooms. And then you can book your own private room, but they're not inexpensive. You're still paying in the 200s a night to stay at them. And I'm just looking at, I have a bookshelf in my podcast office, and I think I have my fraternity president mug still here. And I would not want to live or stay in a student housing during student time. Even the summer, we were out of control. So we went to Florida State University, and I stayed in student housing that was paid. So it was a higher end one. And we would pay off the manager of the building to make sure that he wouldn't bother us on our floors and make sure he was taken care of. So we had a party. He would get a cut of the door. Everything was all right. But anyhow, I'm sure it's changed a little bit since I was in school.
Yes. And I think it also depends on the school, the college, the town, the city, all of that.
I went to Florida State, everybody. Florida State University, ranked #1 party school at the time. Sarah here, much more polished, refined, went to Georgetown University over here in Washington, D.C. So very different crowds. Maybe we can do student housing at Georgetown.
No, I mean, we were still students at the end of the day, and they weren't that. But I mean, again, it's like it all depends. It all depends. I would say student housing actually would make sense if it's maybe more of like the junior seniors,
Or
where
parents
maybe it's
coming
a
to
little
visit on
bit.
parents' weekend, or you're checking out
Yeah,
school and you want to kind of experience it. That could be something. Or you're a traveling professor. Those kind of, I guess, could work.
yeah, that could work. But I mean, or grad students maybe that aren't so much into the whole party scene. That just you were in the whole frat. You were in the whole frat circuit, so.
I was in the bubble. Yeah, I was the president of the largest one on campus. It's just like the movies, everybody, but worse.
Oh my gosh. I think I've only been to like one frat party
So
once.
funny. So funny. But listen, I like this model. I want to look into it here because I think it could work in some big cities and it could be
Yeah,
interesting. It's just you got to
definitely.
protect the experience of the guests there with the students being mixed in. It would be interesting to see, but they're doing it, and they've been doing it since 2012 with Social Hub. So if
Yeah.
you want to check it out, it's actually really cool and a different way to really look at these things. And I think graduate hotel and undergraduates like that level up from it, but they're in those college towns as well.
Yep. Definitely. Okay, let's go on to this next topic because I'm actually super excited about this one.
Let's do it.
So, the Travelers
This is
Creator
your topic, by the way. So look, hold on. Let me just get out of the way.
Stop. The Travelers Creator Economy doesn't need 1 million followers. It needs proof it converts. So this is interesting. So micro creators with fewer than 20,000 followers now make up nearly half of the total US influencer marketing spend, which is up from less than 20% in 2021. Brands are basically shifting away from follower count as a primary metric, and just 8% of brands ranked follower count as the most important factor when choosing creators. Yeah, obviously, there's a lot of reasons for this. There are a lot of people that had, they've got a high follower count, but let's just say they're models, for example. And so, of course, they might have a high follower count, but it's not necessarily the people that are booking the trips. Also, fun fact here, brands actually value creators who have a predominantly female audience versus male audience. Females are more likely to spend, whether it is on travel, beauty, whatever, lifestyle, which is interesting. Because I've got a friend of mine who's got predominantly male, and she has a big following, and she has a hard time with brand deals because they're like, it doesn't necessarily convert. So, but I don't know. I mean, I understand this is. Do you want to chime in on here? I mean, we can.
Yeah, I'm curious about it because, like, look, there's a whole movement going now, and I think we've talked about this a couple times. But live shopping, I think, is going to be really interesting, where you can really see, like, all right, I'm going to put Sarah up to talk about my brand Biscayne Coffee, and if she can convert, I see live, almost like QVC style of what's going to be going on.
Yeah,
the other
definitely.
is, I think that's a really interesting one, and the other is, it's really hard to get someone to book a hotel room right off the bat after seeing something. And so, like, this affiliate program, I've been using affiliate marketing since 15 years ago, because I've always wanted like have the affiliate ad on my first website, and I felt cool. And I remember that someone booked, I forget, it was like a Visa Black Card, and I got a $450 affiliate marketing fee because they did it on my first blog. And I was like, I'm going to be a millionaire, but that was the only one for 2 years. That book through there.
Yeah, I was supposed to say, I was like, what are your thoughts on affiliate marketing? Because I have very strong
like affiliate marketing if it's done the right way. I actually stopped it on my coffee because people were trying to scam the system, and they were running Google ads on top of my ads to drive business to their affiliate link, which then I had to pay that. And so I turned it off because I didn't have a great grasp on it, but I'm trying to learn more now, especially with live shopping, where I can really see what's going on and track what's happening. And paying affiliates, I wouldn't mind doing that if they're representing the brand the right way. But you guys see it. If you're on social media, you see all people like, hey, like somehow I'm on a black hole of puppy stuff now because we're getting a puppy. And I have all these affiliates selling me every type of dog chew and all these toys now on my feed. I don't know what's what and who's who. So that's kind of interesting place, is how do you get people you trust actually showing you the things that really would be good for you. So I still think we have some room to grow in that, especially in travel. That's where I think us having this kind of show and being able to be online and really push people to the right places and not just trying to make a dollar by sending people to any which place. That's the hard part.
Yeah, it's interesting. I've got a lot of travel creator friends that a good bulk of their business is affiliate marketing, whether it's through their blogs, through different content that they've created. And I'm talking about like OG travel bloggers, because that's definitely the world that I have been in and part of for quite some time. That for me has never been an area of interest, like for me, it's like I'm just more for high value ticket options. So, and sometimes I feel like I know it's a volume game with that. And in just whatever I do, I'm not really a volume sort of person. I'm a quality over quantity type person.
Yeah, we both are.
Yeah. And so, but there's a time and place for it. And it's absolutely, the interesting thing is, okay, how they keep track, because it's not like, and I've said this many times before, it's not like, oh, wow, I see that cool sweater. Cool. Click it, buy it, because it's a $40 sweater. It's like, oh, wow, I really love that overwater bungalow. Let me remember that. We're going to look on booking our overwater bungalow in 2 months. And then how does that end up still tracking?
Yes.
Hard.
But with AI, I'm sure it will tighten up, very soon. I think it will. And I think what's going to start happening the more of these learn is like, you may search up, I don't know, Livongo, right? A stay at Livongo.
Yeah.
And Livongo will have, its little pixel, right? That they can put in Meta or Google, or now ChatGPT has theirs, which I'm going to learn something about today. And then it will serve you up those creators that are talking about Livongo in your feed. Totally. And if you can book through there, it'd be interesting.
And you have a code. I have a code. Like I've got a Livongo code. So I mean, that works as well. It's just interesting. I mean, obviously we get it, because it's they want to make sure that the content is converting, but then there's also there's sales and marketing, and but they're also sales and marketing, and it's like two different things. And but obviously they work hand in hand, and you would like them to work hand in hand, but
but this is what we create. But what I do like seeing is that brands now, instead of paying, that 1 million follower person, is paying someone who has 6,000 followers, because those videos are now getting 800,000 views or 1 million views, because it's now more, not about the follower, but about what they're sharing and how well they're sharing.
Totally. So although my only caveat with that is sometimes those depending on where they are in their content journey, they will opt for things for free. And for those who have been doing this professionally, I mean, it's wild. The number of people that are like, yeah, why don't you want to do this for free? And it's like, because it's an entire, like,
it's exciting at first. It's exciting at first.
Yeah, it's exciting at first, but it 100% dilutes it. And by the way, for any big brand that brags about how they never pay their influencers, to me, it's a turnoff, because it's like saying, like, we only work with interns, or we only do we only have free employment. And it's like, that's your flex. I feel like they don't understand. I mean, again, it all depends on what they're offering, but I think it can be highly disrespectful depending on, I think it just shows their ignorance to the actual professionalism that is out there. And they're just looking for free talent.
I just turned down a speaking engagement. I thought, oh, this would be exciting. And I was like, oh, we don't pay for you to get here. We don't pay for your fee to be here. And there's not a big audience. So I'm like, okay, like, what's the point of going? But before, I would have been like, oh, I would like to have stayed there, and I would have traveled there, 4 or 5 years ago when I was just starting out. But you get a little jaded. You get a little jaded. But yeah, it doesn't make sense. It's what are you giving up?
I don't think it's jaded. I think it's just its value. You know what I mean? And so it's under. I mean, I get offered free stuff all the time, and it's like, if I was bouncing around doing all the free things, how would I afford to live? Like, you know what I mean? Like, how does anybody? So I think it's understanding and respecting the business side of it. But
well, we went a little long. I think maybe we pass the last story and go into our favorite segment. What do you think, Sarah?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah,
All
for
right,
sure.
so our producers backstage, we're skipping that story and we're going into Whose Brand Is It Anyway? The favorite game show.
Oh
No,
no!
we
Oh,
lost.
we gave it away. Don't look.
Don't look. We got to start again. But whose brand is it anyway? I'm going to show this one here. We went backwards. It's okay, Monica. We went backwards, but we'll pretend that we didn't see. Radisson Individuals. Radisson Individuals hotel brand. I haven't seen, but we already gave up the answer if we saw it, which is Choice Hotels. Put it up on here again so people can see. Choice Hotels is the Radisson, but it just shows you again, guys. If we go back to the first part of the episode, how many brands are out there? And would we have guessed Radisson was part of the choice?
Wait, is that like Radisson? Like the Radisson Hotels?
Check it out.
But that logo looked different.
It did. Unless there's a separate brand or something else going on that goes on through it.
Wait, why did that look different? Wait, can we see the brand again, Monica?
Radisson.
Radisson Individuals. Yeah, sure.
I see.
That's
it here.
Okay.
So Radisson Individuals is a soft brand of upper scale hotels that allows independent properties and regional chains to join a global network while retaining their unique local character. Part of the portfolio and the Choice Hotel Network in the Americas. So I learned something new today with that brand, and I haven't stayed at a Radisson in, I don't know, since the 90s. Maybe it's time to go check out some of them.
I've stayed at a Radisson Blue within the past 5 years. That was kind of cool. So yeah, nice. I like this.
All right. Well, listen, good show today here, Sarah.
Great show.
We flew by. We talked about a lot of cool things. And so listeners and viewers, as always, I know you like this show. I'm sure your friends will like it as well. So make sure to share this with them. And if you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe. And if you haven't been on a live show, like all of our live viewers here, we have some loyal live viewers here, especially Paul, Lou, that we're on here talking all day. We love having you. But make sure to join us live next time as well. Any other parting words, Sarah?
No, other than
stay hospitable.
Hospitable.
Bye, everybody.